The dark web itself isn't a marketplace. You can't visit those websites in a regular browser. You have to do that while you're connected to the onion.
The dark web itself isn't a marketplace. You can't visit those websites in a regular browser. You have to do that while you're connected to the onion router. Even like murder for hire, there's counterfeit money, fake IDs, and all kinds of different websites that do horrible things. Deep within the encrypted corridors of the dark web, ethical hacker Ryan Montgomery discovered something that would shake the foundations of what we know about space exploration. While investigating hidden servers, he stumbled upon a classified NASA data set that had remained buried for decades. What he found wasn't just another conspiracy theory or internet rumor, it was something that could rewrite history. So, let's dive right into the story. Tor, the Onion Router, is an open-source project created to anonymize your traffic on the internet. In the world of ethical hacking, they think of hackers as villains, we think of them as heroes. This idea captures the essence of Ryan Montgomery, one of today's most renowned ethical hackers. His skills, methods, and groundbreaking discoveries have set him apart as a critical figure in cybersecurity. But who exactly is Ryan, and why is his name buzzing in conversations surrounding the dark web? Ryan didn't set out to hack systems for personal gain, he wanted to protect them. Born and raised in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, he discovered an early passion for technology. At just 12 years old, his curiosity in coding and computer systems had already led him to experiment with basic programs and security systems, a hobby that would eventually evolve into a career dedicated to ethical hacking. Today, he is synonymous with protecting people, businesses, and institutions from the kinds of cyber threats that lurk in the shadows of the digital world. As the Chief Technology Officer of the Sentinel Foundation, Ryan works at the forefront of the global fight against child exploitation, a cause he has championed with exceptional dedication. Under his leadership, the Sentinel Foundation has collaborated with law enforcement to identify and neutralize child trafficking networks, putting his technical expertise to its most noble use. But Ryan's impact doesn't stop there. His work has led to major breakthroughs in cybersecurity, from identifying vulnerabilities in widely used systems to uncovering hidden exploits that could have had disastrous consequences if found by malicious actors. While much of his work takes place in the background, his skill in tracing digital footprints and accessing highly secure or hidden networks places him among the elite ethical hackers of this generation. Yet Ryan's public outreach sets him apart from others in his field. With a strong online presence, amassing over 1 million followers on platforms like Instagram, he shares insights about cybersecurity and ethical hacking in an engaging, digestible manner. His transparency has made cybersecurity more relatable, earning him the trust of his audience. It's no exaggeration to say that Ryan has built a career on defending the digital world, and that same dedication has put him on an unanticipated journey into the darkest corners of the internet, the kind of places few dare to tread. But what is his job exactly? While ethical hacking may sound like an oxymoron, it's a legitimate and increasingly important profession. Ethical hackers, often referred to as white hat hackers, are individuals trained to bypass security systems legally and ethically with the aim of exposing vulnerabilities before malicious actors can exploit them. In an age where data breaches and ransomware attacks have become headline news, white hat hackers are the unsung heroes defending society from invisible threats. So, what makes ethical hackers tick? The answer lies in their combination of technical expertise and moral commitment. Rather than breaking into systems to steal sensitive information, they simulate attacks on digital infrastructures to improve cybersecurity defenses. Ethical hackers also work with governments and private organizations to thwart cyber attacks, protect sensitive data, and safeguard personal privacy. Ryan's work as an ethical hacker goes beyond high-tech systems in corporate offices. His role extends into the dark web, one of the most misunderstood and potentially dangerous areas of the internet. For many, the term dark web conjures images of shadowy corners where illegal activities thrive. And while this isn't entirely inaccurate, ethical hackers like Ryan use these secretive networks to monitor and report criminal activities, black market operations, or whatever you want to call it. Once you're connected to the dark web, through the Onion Router, as I was explaining before, the dark web isn't accessible through your standard Chrome or Safari browser. It resides within encrypted networks like those run by Tor, which allow users to maintain anonymity. While this is valuable for privacy advocates, it also enables marketplaces and forums where illegal trade and sensitive information sharing occur. In these spaces, ethical hackers serve as watchdogs, sifting through data and discussions for information that could reveal vulnerabilities, criminal activities, or hidden truths. Over the years, ethical hackers have found incredible and horrifying things. In short, the dark web is a repository for many of society's darkest secrets. Ryan is no stranger to this world. His expertise in navigating encrypted networks has proven invaluable in exposing hidden information. But this ethical hacker doesn't just find secrets, he decodes them. As he says, anyone can stumble across something on the dark web, the real work starts when you figure out what to do with it. And it was during one of these deep dives into encrypted networks that Montgomery stumbled onto something that could forever reshape public understanding of extraterrestrial phenomena. His discovery reportedly began with what he called a routine investigation. Using his skill set, he infiltrated a restricted server deep within an encrypted marketplace, a move that is entirely legal for an ethical hacker under certain agreements. Hidden among fragmented files of largely irrelevant data, Ryan is said to have discovered a peculiar data set titled NASA Export. To the casual observer, the label would appear to be meaningless, just another file lost in the cacophony of corrupted data often found on the dark web. But Montgomery's expertise told him otherwise. What drew his attention was the metadata, date stamps, technical references, and keywords embedded in the file headers. Upon opening the first series of documents, Ryan uncovered something unlike anything else he'd encountered in his years of ethical hacking: photographs, dozens of them. They were accompanied by annotations suggesting they had been compiled by NASA personnel across different decades, starting in 1987. The photos appeared bizarre and unearthly, far removed from typical NASA documentation. While his immediate response was skepticism, the metadata gave him pause. These files were unlike anything accessible to the general public. Ryan reportedly described the process of analyzing the data as meticulous, driven by equal parts curiosity and caution. Ethical hackers know the importance of verifying the authenticity of information. A single unvetted file can mean a misstep that undermines credibility. As he combed through the data set, he identified file structure patterns matching those of NASA's imaging systems, details almost impossible for outsiders to replicate. The implications became hard to ignore. This was something meticulously documented, spanning decades, with connections pointing toward one of the most reputable organizations in the world. Ryan's journey into the dark web has been filled with unexpected discoveries, but this revelation might be the most intriguing yet. While many hackers uncover sensitive data, few ever come across something that calls into question humanity's very understanding of the universe. But how did this seemingly innocuous file become such a critical discovery? How deep does the connection to NASA go, and what might these images truly reveal about what lies beyond Earth? To answer these questions, we must dig through the dark web a bit more ourselves. The internet, as most people experience it, represents just a fraction of the actual digital landscape. Beneath the surface lies the dark web, a concealed network shrouded in mystery and often misunderstood. As I've already explained, the dark web is a segment of the internet that isn't indexed by traditional search engines like Google or Bing. Accessing it requires specialized software, the most prevalent being the Onion router, better known as Tor. This browser facilitates anonymous communication by routing internet traffic through a global network of servers, each adding a layer of encryption, hence the term onion routing. This process conceals users' identities and locations, making activities on the dark web difficult to trace. Originally developed by the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory in the mid-1990s to protect sensitive government communications, Tor has since evolved into a tool for both legitimate and illicit purposes. While it provides a haven for individuals seeking privacy, such as activists, journalists, and whistleblowers operating under oppressive regimes, it also harbors illegal activities, including marketplaces for weapons and stolen data. One of the dark web's most notorious functions is serving as a platform for leak sites. These are specialized websites where cybercriminals upload and share sensitive information obtained through data breaches. Such data can include personal identification details, financial records, and confidential corporate documents. The anonymity provided by the dark web makes it an ideal environment for these activities, complicating efforts by authorities to track and apprehend perpetrators. Conspiracy theories alleging that NASA and other government agencies have concealed evidence of extraterrestrial life have persisted for decades. One of the most enduring narratives centers around the Roswell incident of 1947, where an unidentified object crashed near Roswell, New Mexico. Initial reports described it as a flying disc, but the U.S. military later claimed it was a weather balloon. Despite official explanations, speculation about the true nature of the object continues to this day. Over the years, numerous individuals have come forward with accounts of UFO sightings and encounters, often suggesting that NASA has evidence of extraterrestrial life that it deliberately withholds from the public. These claims are frequently bolstered by purported leaks of classified documents and images, some of which have surfaced on the dark web. The authenticity of such materials is often questionable, yet they fuel public fascination and skepticism. The Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, has played a significant role in bringing government documents to light. Through FOIA requests, previously classified files have been released, offering insights into government investigations of unexplained aerial phenomena. While many of these documents provide mundane explanations, others lack conclusive information, leaving room for continued speculation. The dark web's anonymity and lack of regulation make it a fertile ground for the dissemination of unverified information, including alleged evidence of extraterrestrial life. Various forums and marketplaces claim to offer leaked documents, photographs, and even biological specimens purportedly linked to alien encounters. The unverifiable nature of these sources allows such content to proliferate, often without scrutiny. For example, there have been instances where users on the dark web have claimed to possess classified NASA documents detailing encounters with extraterrestrial beings. These claims are typically accompanied by grainy images or documents lacking verifiable metadata, making it challenging to assess their authenticity. Nonetheless, they capture the imagination of theorists and the general public alike. The dark web also serves as a hub for communities dedicated to discussing and promoting theories. In these echo chambers, unverified information can gain traction rapidly as users reinforce each other's beliefs and skepticism toward official narratives. Let's face it, the lack of oversight and the encrypted nature of these platforms make it difficult to introduce counterarguments or debunk misinformation. It's important to note that while the dark web facilitates the spread of such theories, it also poses significant risks to those who venture into its depths without proper precautions. Users may be exposed to malware, scams, and legal repercussions, especially when engaging with illicit content. Remember that accessing the dark web requires a thorough understanding of its dangers and the implementation of robust security measures. NASA, the United States National Aeronautics and Space Administration, has long been at the forefront of space exploration and scientific discovery. As a publicly funded agency, it operates with a mandate of transparency, regularly sharing its findings with the global community. However, alongside its public missions, there have been persistent allegations and theories suggesting that NASA conceals evidence of extraterrestrial life and advanced technologies. Could it be that our ethical hacker stumbled upon some classified files proving these suspicions? Since its establishment in 1958, NASA has been dedicated to the peaceful exploration of space. Its missions have led to groundbreaking discoveries, significantly enhancing our understanding of the universe. NASA's Kepler Space Telescope, launched in 2009, its mission is to monitor the brightness of stars for signs of orbiting planets, revolutionizing the search for planets beyond our solar system. Kepler identified thousands of exoplanet candidates, many located in the habitable zones of their respective stars, where conditions might be right for liquid water, a key ingredient for life as we know it. These discoveries have opened new avenues in the search for extraterrestrial life, suggesting that Earth-like planets may be more common than previously thought. You see, the quest to determine whether life ever existed on Mars has been a central focus for NASA. In 2008, the Phoenix Mars lander confirmed the presence of water ice on the Martian surface. Subsequent missions, including the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, better known as the MRO, and the Curiosity rover, have provided compelling evidence that liquid water once flowed on Mars. In 2015, data from MRO suggested that liquid water still flows intermittently on present-day Mars. Today, we're going to announce that under certain circumstances, liquid water has been found on Mars, a discovery that has major implications for the planet's habitability. While not directly managed by NASA, the agency has supported the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, through funding and the provision of technological resources. SETI employs radio telescopes and other instruments to detect potential signals from intelligent extraterrestrial sources. Although no definitive evidence has been found to date, the search continues, driven by the implications such a discovery would entail. In recent years, several individuals have come forward claiming that government agencies, including NASA, have evidence of extraterrestrial life that has been withheld from the public. For instance, during a congressional hearing in 2023, a former intelligence official testified that the U.S. government had recovered non-human biologics from UFO crash sites. Unveiling hidden treasures, one of the most high-profile examples of ethical hacking leading to dark web discoveries, however, occurred with the exposure of unethical medical practices. In one notorious case, hackers revealed clinical trial data from major companies. These trials, conducted in underserved global regions, exposed test subjects to life-threatening risks without their knowledge or proper consent. The leaked documents, which appeared on an encrypted marketplace, revealed negligence and an apparent disregard for human safety, sparking international outrage. Such incidents stress the dark web's role in revealing hidden truths, even at the cost of challenging corporate powers. The nuclear sector has also been a recurring target. In a particularly startling event, a breach of the U.S. Idaho National Laboratory led to the theft of sensitive employee data. A group identifying itself as Seed SEC claimed responsibility, uploading the stolen information onto dark web forums and encrypted channels. While the group's intentions seemed driven by activism rather than financial motives, the exposure of sensitive materials stressed alarm and vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure. Such leaks carry the dual consequence of raising public awareness while increasing the risk of sensitive materials falling into malicious hands. Healthcare organizations too have been frequent victims of dark web operations. Over several years, billions of personal medical records have been stolen and listed for sale on various dark web forums. One particularly egregious case in 2016 saw hackers leak over 16 million medical records, including intimate family histories and diagnostic information. These were sold for prices ranging from $20 to $50 per record. Such actions expose not only personal privacy risks but also vulnerabilities in systems entrusted with some of the most sensitive data. While uncovering these incidents has brought critical security failures to light, they also show the moral gray areas of ethical hacking on the dark web. Most hacking itself involves crossing legal boundaries, such as unauthorized access to computer systems or databases. Under the U.S. Computer Fraud Act, unauthorized access to computers or networks is a federal crime. Ethical hackers who operate without explicit consent from system owners walk a precarious line between heroism and illegality. Beyond the legal risk, ethical hackers also navigate significant moral challenges. Unlike traditional corporate or government vulnerabilities, files uncovered on the dark web are often raw and unfiltered. Publishing these materials, even with the best of intentions, can result in severe unintended consequences. At the same time, government actions add to the legal and ethical dilemmas of dealing with sensitive content. Law enforcement agencies often struggle to police dark web platforms due to the layers of encryption protecting users. To counteract this, governments have employed their own hackers or utilized invasive surveillance tactics. Techniques such as tracking transactions in cryptocurrencies or infiltrating dark web markets with malware raise questions about how far authorities should go to pursue justice in their efforts. These entities must also weigh civil liberties, like privacy and due process, against the urgency of stopping crimes. For decades, forums have been rife with tales of government projects, secret experiments, and conspiracies rooted in shadowy corners of society. Perhaps none are as pervasive as the theories surrounding extraterrestrial life and suppressed discoveries. Insiders and whistleblowers often claim that organizations like NASA harbor extensive evidence of alien artifacts, biological specimens, or mysterious signals, evidence intentionally hidden from the public. A famous example concerns discussions about Project MKUltra, a CIA mind control initiative from the mid-20th century. While portions of MKUltra were officially declassified in later years, its history became an echo chamber for unverifiable stories on the dark web, with users claiming the continuation of the project under different names or broader purposes. These unresolved mysteries present ethical hackers with a unique and sometimes overwhelming challenge. Should a whistleblower release files from the dark web if their credibility cannot be confirmed? Could the very act of publication spread falsehoods that fuel distrust, paranoia, or hysteria? Moreover, some dark web stories may indeed reflect carefully orchestrated disinformation campaigns, planted not for discovery, but to deceive or distract. Enter Ryan Montgomery, a highly skilled ethical hacker with a track record of shining light into dark places. His discovery of NASA-linked images adds a tangible element to the web of unverifiable stories found within a fragmented repository. These images, initially seemed unremarkable, buried within data files similar to countless hoaxes encountered on the dark web. Yet Montgomery's methodical examination revealed unique qualities, metadata bearing the unmistakable markers of NASA-originated imaging equipment and timestamps aligning with historical technological progress. What at first seemed like another baseless tale slowly transformed into a find with deeply unsettling implications. The images that changed everything. Ryan Montgomery shared what he found only with a small group of trusted colleagues. Sources say that his opening words made them all sit down immediately. According to one of them, "This is exactly what our ethical hacker said. I found alien photos on the dark web NASA tried to hide, and they lied. They lied about everything." The tension in that room was palpable as Ryan opened the first encrypted file. His hands moved swiftly across the keyboard, going through layers of security he'd already mapped out during his initial discovery. As the first image appeared on screen, one colleague reportedly gasped audibly. "This is from 1987, Ryan explained, pointing to the NASA facility markings clearly visible in the background. The clinical images showed what appeared to be a medical examination scenario, but the subject on the table defied any conventional explanation. "Look at the proportions," he directed, highlighting the being's elongated torso, nearly 1.5 times human proportions. Its oversized head comprised almost a third of its total body length, but what drew the most attention was its skin's subtle bluish luminescence, visible even under the harsh medical lighting. A measurement scale in the frame indicated the being was approximately 4 feet tall. But that's not all. Ryan continued pulling up the second series from 1991. These were labeled Site 23 documentation. The room fell silent as images revealed something that challenged their collective understanding of aerospace technology, a triangular craft with curved edges that seemed to possess impossible properties. "Watch what happens to the light," Montgomery pointed out, showing how the vehicle's surface simultaneously reflected and absorbed light, creating a visual effect that made direct observation difficult. Then came what Ryan reportedly called the smoking gun, the 2002 surveillance camera footage. "This is when they couldn't hide it anymore," he said quietly, displaying images of a living entity similar to the one from 1987, actively interacting with human researchers. The being's luminescent skin pulsed in a pattern that suggested intentional communication. As an ethical hacker, Ryan knew his credibility depended on verification. Insiders shared that he pulled up the metadata, showing his colleagues the file structures containing unique signatures matching NASA's internal cataloging system. These were taken with classified NASA imaging technology, prototype cameras designed for deep space missions. "You can't fake these signatures, not from that era." The evidence mounted as Montgomery displayed images showing measuring devices and scientific equipment with readings that defied explanation. But it was one particular image from 2002 that silenced even the skeptics in the room, the being demonstrating what appeared to be advanced technology. A small spherical device floated between its elongated fingers, emitting a soft greenish light, surrounded by what looked like a localized distortion field. "Yes," Ryan allegedly said, "I couldn't close my mouth for a while as well." Now remember what I told you at the beginning of the video, Ryan doesn't only decode secrets. By the end of the meeting, he revealed what he believed was the reason for NASA's decades-long cover-up, the mathematical equations and star charts being drawn or projected by the being. "These configurations don't match anything in NASA's databases," he explained, "but they follow recognizable mathematical principles. They're showing us something, somewhere." One of the people present at the meeting reportedly asked about the possibility of forgery, but Ryan's response was definitive. "Look at the consistency across decades. The anatomical proportions never vary. The luminescent effect appears identical across multiple imaging technologies. In the 80s, we couldn't even digitally create effects like this." After hearing all this, be honest and say, how long do you think NASA really hides? They know aliens exist. Let us know in the comments.